Good afternoon, everyone. So, just about team, on a quick note, I will have Tahira along with me, part of this presentation. She will be covering what we have done in the pharma so far and what value add we can bring in the pharma industry. As team computers, so we are basically categorized in three areas. Broadly, if you look at think, build, and operate. Uh, our journey so far, uh, we have a pan-India operations. This year we are closing. We have closed around 1,200 crores last year. This year we should be at a run rate which we are going. We should be touching 1,600 this year, with close to around 2,500 customers that we are serving in the industry. Last month in June, we have celebrated our 33rd birthday, and still going good. We are profitable, CAGR of 31% growth. Overall members across the country that we have is around 3,000 people. So with 750 odd locations that we are supporting across the country. On the think part, uh, we are basically looking at how do we partner with our customers in their digital journey. So with respect to the data, when it comes to data, we're talking about analytics, we're talking about advanced analytics, visualization with respect to BI, AI ML works that we do, and also providing a great digital experience to the customers, by providing portals, building maybe agent portals, suppliers portals, vendors portals, customer portals, even the employee portals for our own internal customers. Uh, we do a lot of IoT based analytics when the data comes from machines and other IoT devices. How do you collect all the data, build an entire data lake, and then provide great through and disseminate the information through various other portals that we do. Robotic process that we're going to touch about right now is one of the great practice that we have, providing RPA solutions across industries and across various functions in that industry that we are doing it, and also looking at how do we provide that the entire collaboration suites with Google and with Microsoft and other platforms that we have. We partner to all the industry leaders in that space so that we can provide those digital services to our customers. On the build part, what we call as digital plumbing, where we are looking at the end user devices with desktop, laptops, and printers. And on the other side, we are looking at a data center, both on-prem and on cloud. And then at the wrapper around with all the security and other security and compliance things, for putting all into one place and stitching the entire infrastructure for the customers. Partner with all the industry leaders which are there, and just not supply the hardware, but we are also in the ensuring that it's implemented and then it is supported. And then we basically help them, we ensure that the entire IT infrastructure that has been set up, it works. So we have our various services through which we provide that services through remote infrastructure management services, or it can be, on a knock of the door. So it basically looking at AMC support services, facility management services, managed services, break fix supports, all those things. So we ensure at one side we help customers build the entire infrastructure. On the other hand, we also ensure that the infrastructure is up and running 24/7 that we provide. With this, I would forward it to Tahira. Tahira, over to you.
Thanks, Jatin, for the quick introduction to Team Computers. Primarily, the department that Jatin and me are a part of, and which takes care of RPA, is the digital engineering team. Primarily working on an outcome-based model, there are three things that we strive to achieve with customers that we partner with. Firstly is how do you accelerate sales? Secondly, how do you reduce costs for the organization? And thirdly, improving operational efficiency, security, and compliance. We're designed vertically, which means that we have focus specifically on a set of industries. Some of these industries, as you can see on the slide, are auto, banking and financial services, manufacturing, and pharma and healthcare. So pharma and healthcare is one of the business lines that we are dedicated to and have a dedicated team for. What are the areas, if I could give you a brief about the areas that we work in, largely, Jatin, can you move to the next slide? Yeah, largely we operate across three areas for, Jatin, can you please move to the next slide if that's okay? There are largely three areas that we work across. First of all, reimagining experiences for customers. Jatin? First of all, reimagining experiences for customers, where we look at how end customer experience can be enhanced and stickiness of customers can be improved. A second large part of what we do is work on process automation across customers and across processes. So any manual repetitive process in your supply chain or your IT or HR can be easily automated, plus increasing real-time visibility across each of these processes. And thirdly, analytics is another large area that we deal with. Jatin? Yeah, thanks. So coming specifically to some of the challenges that we work in pharma for, one of the things that we've seen is the need to increasingly improve the customer and doctor experience. Doctors and largely through chatbots, through digital catalogs, and I know a lot of you all have already taken that leap. Another area that we're working with customers is on building apps or websites or portals that focus on specialty drug businesses, where there is a need to now reach out to customers directly. Secondly, there is a high dependence on direct sales. So can we set up digital platforms, especially for OTC businesses, for consumer healthcare divisions that most pharma companies are setting up? So that is another area that we do work in. And thirdly, across the supply chain, first of all, bringing in visibility in terms of procurement, in terms of optimization of freight costs, optimization of transport and logistics, and analytics across all departments to ensure that there is high visibility in the organization. Another interesting project that we've started working on with customers is digitizing the entire batch manufacturing record, or building an EBR system which provides a digital audit log of all your BMRs and brings in high level of visibility and real-time insights into that process. Jatin, can we move to the next slide? We've also deeply working with a large number of pathology customers, addressing first of all the first and major challenge of patient and customer experience. How do you minimize churn in that area? How do you enhance loyalty? How do you move patients from an illness space to a wellness space where they can, based on regular results, improve their health over time as against reliance on medical facilities? Secondly, frontline productivity is a large area of concern across customer success teams, sales reps, phlebotomy teams. So ensuring that HR costs remain stable as well as productivity of the frontline remains intact. In terms of operations, one of the largest challenges that we've seen in the space is a variance that comes in the time of reporting that you've committed to a patient versus the time that you actually can provide the report. So working on finding solutions to reduce the variance between the ETR and the OTR, and ensuring that performance and productivity of all labs are measured. Just the next slide. We're largely, as an organization, agnostic to OEMs. So across all of our offerings, we work with multiple OEMs, be it in the analytics space or applications space. Also, a large focus on open source, and we're pretty much at the end of this presentation. Would just like to end with a few differentiators that we bring onto the table, apart from being technology agnostic. First of all, we have an integrated go-to-market as a organization, which means that uh, across integration across multiple technologies becomes easier, and we can provide full-fledged solutions irrespective of the area of concern. Secondly, we have a dedicated center of excellence that is continuously working on experimenting and finding new technologies. So we instead of just engaging with organizations on a requirement, we want to work on developing and building digital roadmaps that we can drive together. And third and lastly, we have a very strong customer success framework, which ensures that any technology that you invest in, you get ROI from it. Just the next slide. So just a snapshot of some of the customers that we work with, specifically in the pharma and healthcare space. Dr. Lal Path Labs, Boehringer, Cipla, Pfizer. These are some of the large names that we work with, and looking forward to working with each one of you in the future. Next slide. So that's it from our front. Would like to hand over to Sumit, who will take us through automation specifically for this industry. Sumit, over to you.
Thank you, Taira. Thanks for the presentation. And before I get into my presentation, happy belated birthday to the team. I think it was last week from what Jatin suggested. So let me, let me bring up the deck. I hope it's visible now. So good afternoon, everyone. Great to have you on board. We have got 15 minutes in this presentation, or maybe less than that. I'll quickly go through it. And what I will encourage is that for everyone to start drafting questions will be great if you can do that. And Archie, do we have polling questions coming in between as well? Or are we doing that?
Yes, Sumit, we are having polling questions, and our polling questions are ready. If you want to have the first two polling questions before your presentation.
Let's do that. So you also understand where the audience is in terms of their automation journey. So if you can bring it up, that will be great. Okay, so the first question on your screen is, where is your organization, your automation journey? Are you evaluating the technology? You're planning, experimenting, doing a pilot, scaling up the RPS setup, or not begin as yet? I hope not begin as yet would be lesser. With pandemic upon us, that would have given you that extra impetus to jump into at least doing a pilot. I'll encourage every one of you to please vote. There is Nota, there's no option of Nota, so I'm sure you are falling into either of these categories. Nota is none of the above. So we got 12 of 30. If we can take it at least to 20 plus, that will be great. Okay. So 40% who have responded, of which half of them are in planning and experimenting and evaluating technology. So very, very at the nascent stage of their automation journey. That's great. Can you bring up the next polling question, please? I think we just did that. So maybe the next one. Yeah. Okay. So what is the scale of your automation journey now? Well, my guess is you have just, because you almost all of you are at the beginning of your journey, so expect to be either not beginners yet or between 1 and 10 bots, and very few between 10 and 100. So yeah. It's interesting to see with COVID lockdown, we have seen a lot of CIOs and CFOs are looking at working towards making a stronger digital workforce to build resiliency and productivity and operational efficiency. It's also interesting to see we got one person who has voted and is between 100 and 500 votes. So that's quite a mature journey or mature program, a stakeholder with mature program among ourselves, which is great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Archit. So we can close the polls now. All right. So let me get into the presentation, and there's a video as part of the use case, which we'll take you through. So just talking about COVID in Automation Anywhere, now we are not talking much about COVID because we already have a history about it. We're already into it for the last 4 to 5 months. It's kind of become a now normal. We're not even calling it new normal because people have got used to it. Organizations have gotten used to it. They don't know up till what time this will continue to happen. So it has become sort of a let's deal with it and let's get better at dealing with it, right? So, but when it came upon us, there was huge disruption. We all were panicking. There was restrictions across from traveling perspective. Supply chain was down. Market has crashed, liquidity crunch, and you name it. So there was this anxiety, fear, which is all upon us. The one thing which we saw, which all the organizations across the industry had upon them was to have this delicate balance of ensuring that there is economic impact has been mitigated, but at the same time there is not humanitarian impact. So they have to play this, you have to do this delicate dance between these two, because while you want to make sure that lights are on and you continue responding to the needs in the market, at the same time you ensure that your staff and the well-being of the staff is good as well. So what we did as Automation Anywhere, we reached out to our customers and we asked them what sort of challenges they are facing. And when we did that, so we got some 3,000 plus enterprise customers. So we didn't go with one sort of a glasses to all of them. We basically divided the industry into 3 parts. Industry which needs to be efficient, the ones which needs to survive, and the other one which needs to be saved. The ones which needs to be efficient is pharma, healthcare, hospital. So, and we know that pharma and healthcare, hospitals, and government and ministries are in this perfect storm, where as you all are from pharma background, so you will I think you'll resonate with this comment that we are in this perfect storm where things, the demand has gone off the roof, but we do not have enough resources at our to ourselves, or the technology is needed to basically meet that demand. So we saw that particular segment. We also saw survival, where we know that hospitality, airline industries are really hugely impacted adversely. So how do we ensure that we help them and save them from reputational risk, or continue to do their operational bit while they are grappling with the situation? And certainly save, which is banking and insurance. Insurance, banking, pharma, they're all linked with each other. Banking industry and insurance industry are linked with each other. So how do we ensure that we're able to provide enough arms and legs and brains to these industries so that they're able to respond to the needs of individual as well as for the corporates as well? Uh, so that's how we looked at each of different industry, and we went with uh, asking any specific problems or solutions they are looking for. Specifically, we zeroed down onto government, healthcare, and life sciences. We knew that they have to respond to this global challenge very, very quickly. We have to come with some unprecedented solutions, and we know that we were able to help, or we could help these industry with the help of the levers which we have, which is intelligent automation, RPA, collaborating data, and AI, and the sorts. So the idea was, how do we ensure that if we take example of RPA, how do we ensure that we're able to help hospitals, healthcare, life sciences in automating the manual activity so that they are able to focus on far more critical work, like the frontline work, taking care of the patients, making sure that the energy which is required in responding to the certain needs within, say, during the lab. Let me give you an example. One of our customers, they are into you know, they are from pharma industry, and they have been working towards building building a solution of medicine. Now, as per their research, they work on 4 different labs, and they spend 5 to 10 hours a week in collecting the data from all different labs. Now, the scientists are best known to think and come out with a solution, and not to use them behind the computers and crunch the data. And that's where we help them in collating the data, putting the data together to help identify certain trends as well. And so when they are back in their lab, they have the data presented to them, and they can try to understand and make sense of it and try to be ahead of the curve. So that's just one small example. Would like to show some use cases which we have seen with our different customers. I'll leave this slide for some more time. So if you want to take a screenshot, take a picture, or note it down, you're more than happy to do that, because knowing that you all are at the start of your automation journey, so you would want to know, okay, which all use cases can we look at to start your automation program while you're evaluating and looking for certain use cases. See, if you, I am not from pharma, right? So I'm not a subject matter expert, but there are few things which comes very from a common sense perspective very naturally, right? So if you look at pharmacovigilance and safety, automate reporting is something which you can do. Any reporting for that matter is very, very time consuming to collect the data, to present that. That can get automated easily. Reduce time to spend on feedback. That's also quite critical. We have seen our customers who have received feedback either on email or on their social handles. How do you collect this feedback, categorize them into good, bad, and ugly, and then respond and focus onto the ones where it needed to be, right? Rather than going through all these heaps and heaps of data. Regulatory compliance, automation, GMP process and management. I think there are 4 steps within the GMP process. The lifecycle management of submitting global updates. Again, it's collecting the data, making sure that you're adhering to the compliance needs, making sure it is not only timely but accurate as well. And so all of that, again, collation, collecting, reconciling, managing of data can be done with help of RPA. Certainly tracking employees' training certification to ensure that they adhere to the latest norms and regulations can be done with help of automation. Supply chain is ubiquitous. I think we have got a demo on that. It's across the industry, across the geographies as well. But one thing which comes to mind, especially now, when I was speaking to a few of the CFOs, they said that there are 2 things which is becoming very common. One was previously there, which is just-in-time delivery. So knowing that, say for example, now there is certain need of mask or PPE kits and all of that. So you have to onboard new vendors because these were not considered such an important and large-scale volume supplies in the past. So how do you identify which vendor it is, and how do you onboard them pretty quickly, especially when you are away and working in distributed environment, right? So, but once you've onboarded the vendor with help of automation, which can shrink your time, how do you also ensure that that it's a real-time monitoring, and then you go quickly and as you understand the volumes have dropped, you go and order that, right? So automatically, how do you identify that which particular product needs to be reordered? So all of that can get automated using the automation solution in supply chain management. Research, and clinical studies. Again, lots and lots of data to deal with. You can collate the data, and you can provide the way you want to slice and dice these documents and data, and data intelligence as well. Another use cases which I will talk about is in one of the hospitals. They had this massive oxygen cylinder which provides the oxygen in the ventilators to each different wards. Previously, it was a manual activity to go and check the level of the oxygen and the distribution of the oxygen across different wards. And it was a continuous activity. A staff in the hospital has to go and check it and figure out whether there is the sufficient level is there and there's equal distribution. So the bot was built instead, and then bot will do the calculation of equal distribution of this supplying the oxygens across different wards, and then also will raise an alert if the oxygen level goes down into from the main container beyond a particular level. And that made the hospital far more efficient. Otherwise, we have to keep one of the staff has to keep going and check in every 2 or 3 hours, right? So these are smart automation solutions which bring higher value in these times. How do we do that? Quickly, I'll just spend a couple of more minutes on this one. So from Automation Anywhere perspective, the entire technology is built on 4 building blocks. One is Discovery Bot, which is releasing in month of August. It basically enables organizations to discover the processes which needs to get automated. And after the release, which is release +1 when it comes in September, it will take you right from identifying the opportunity to deploying it, right? So that's ML, it's AI is deeply integrated into it, and it right from the identification to the deployment, it will be all automated. IQBot is our cognitive module which deals with structured and unstructured data. We have a use case, we will talk about it, where it has been used in health sciences and life sciences and healthcare industry. RPA, we've spoken about it. You know that it's a platform which mimics the human behavior, and any bots which requires logical steps or any high volume, low value activities can be done using RPA. And bot insights is the fourth one, which is measuring and monitoring the performance of the bots, be it at operational level or a business insight level. Last but not the least, right, what you see over here is the full stack. I've just spoken about these 4 pillars. They're productivity packs to ease the execution of the bot, which means that it integrates deeply with Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce. So how do you seamlessly integrate without much disruption, and bots can become part of your workforce? Bot store something which is readily available. So I said we got 3,000 plus enterprise customers. A lot of learnings. We put that learning for your advantage. You can go to bot store, download it, retweak the bot if you got any ubiquitous applications, and you can go. To make things faster, cheaper, and scalable, we are providing the on-cloud deployment as well, which is we bring our own cloud, which is pure cloud. We call it Smart Automation as Service, or it's cloud-enabled, which is hybrid, where we can have the data resting in your servers, but at the same time, control room can run from the cloud, and any updates can be taken care by ourselves. So I'll quickly go to the use cases. We have got a video for that. So this is we're very proud of this particular use case. So what happened was National Health Services, which is the 5th largest employer in the world in the UK, they reached out to us asking that they need help, where World Health Organization have mandated them to key in the data of all the people who are walking inside the hospital to get themselves checked. Right now, they have to, so there are 25,000 forms a day which is coming through, and they got around 90 FTEs who are working around the clock on this one. And the form looks like this, right? It's 8 to 10 page document. So I will show you from here how we were able to automate it. So over to you, Archit. I'm just going to stop the presentation, and if you can bring up the video, that will be great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, over to you.
So I'm starting the video which Sumit discussed about. Just let me know if you're able to view it.
Not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Yes.
Okay, I think people can. I can't, but the others can. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
In response to the global COVID-19 pandemic, Automation Anywhere, in collaboration with Microsoft, designed a solution to process complex case forms. In this video, we will look at a couple of examples from the UK health industry. Data for the World Health Organization is collected using the clinical CRF. This 10-page form is required for patients under treatment for COVID-19. Using Automation Anywhere IQBot and Microsoft Cognitive Services, these forms can be processed end-to-end. This will allow clinicians and frontline staff to focus on providing better outcomes and an improved patient experience rather than filling in forms. IQBot allows users to extract information from semi- and unstructured data such as forms and emails. IQBot reads information from the CRF forms and extracts checkbox data into a CSV file for subsequent processing. This solution extracts information from checkboxes and handwriting for CRF forms. The same can be used to process any other form, such as E28 forms or patient outcome forms. Checkbox data such as clinical inclusion criteria, demographics, comorbidities, and so on from these documents are successfully extracted into the CSV. Once IQBot has successfully completed its workflow, Microsoft Cognitive Services are used to extract handwriting from the forms. Automation Anywhere and Microsoft's proprietary capability deliver the world's first cloud-native cognitive solution for processing forms with an unparalleled level of accuracy, and approximately 95% for CRF and E28 forms. Once handwriting extraction is complete, results are exported to a JSON file for further processing. Data such as the sender's information, comments, and so on are successfully extracted. Results from IQBot and Microsoft are combined into a single document so they can be input into relevant healthcare systems, such as the WHO COVID-19 data platform. The solution will aid in the collection of clinical data in order to better understand COVID-19 clinical characterization and inform a global public health response. This will help prepare for large-scale clinical trials. Unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. Using this technology, we can better support this humanitarian crisis by giving back time to the doctors and nurses on the front line of our defense.
Thank you, Archit. If you can give it back to me.
So, Sumit, I see customers are coming back with some questions. What I would advise over here is that we are going to have a dedicated session only for question and answers at a in the later part of the webinar. So my advice to all the attendees is that just keep your questions ready. You can put them on the chat window, the question and answer window, or you can jot it down in your notes. And we will be having a session at the end to take up all these questions, and we'll definitely be answering your queries. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you. So as you see on the screen, we just took you through this demo. I would also like to share the latest thing which we have shared this afternoon. It was published in Khaleej Times if you can see my screen, it's in Saudi German hospital, AI bots to boost care at Saudi German hospital, SGH, right? It came today. It's talking about automating the front and back offices from patients onboarding to insurance billing, office management operations, and other financial processes, right? So I'm sure this is applicable to any organization for that matter. The idea is that it adds value to support caregivers in treatment process by providing deeper insights on patient-specific conditions, lifestyle, and patient behavior. So that's a comment from the group CEO of SGH. See, the idea is that the technology is there, the pain points you have got based on the capability of the technology which I have shared today. I think you can identify which all areas would be useful for and making the life better for your staff, especially now during this time. The closing slide is on a bit about Automation Anywhere. While you're going through the slide, the most important point for me here is this 1.8 million digital worker. What we proud ourselves with is that we are augmenting the capacity of organizations across the industry with our digital worker, where we are able to help them in doing their job better, providing them with an option to create capacity so they can do more value-added activity, and then helping them in increasing the productivity, improving the efficiency with higher accuracy. So on that note, Archit, I will give it back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sumit. Thanks for taking us through this, through the the various contributions Automation Anywhere is doing in the current scenario. And it was really very nice to have you and Jatin speak about the various contributions that both of your companies are doing. We saw from Team Computers about their strength and presence in the pharma industry, and Tahera spoke about the various areas, or the three areas of transformation, where Team Computers is actively engaged with their customers. And from you, we saw about how Automation Anywhere is doing their bit during these uncertain times, and how they are helping their customers in this industry to automate their processes and to get better value from their business processes. So before going on to my presentation, I have a couple of slides which I have prepared, and a couple of videos that I have shortlisted, which would give you a better understanding about how Automation Anywhere is automating some of the or the bots are automating some of the processes. There are just three videos that I have. One is about compliance regulation in the life science and the pharma vertical, which is very very critical in today's time, and very time consuming and very labor oriented in the current time. I have one video on the inventory management. It's a very very a basic process about inventory management, but how it can affect and impact the teams who are currently doing this process manually, which includes a lot of repetitive actions. And there's a third video on the IT of an IT administrator case study. The reason why we thought of putting this video over here is because this will help a lot of attendees correlate with what can be done in this in the IT department too. And all these are just, probably these might not be apple to apple relevant to your industry, but they are just some you can extrapolate these ideas and execute it in your function, in your various functions. So basically these are through these are videos about various functions in the life science and the pharma industry. And before going on to that, I would like to have the next set of polling questions over here. The question number 3 and 4, and just my request from all the attendees that please answer. Please take a minute, a couple of seconds out, and register your responses. So Sanam, it would be great if you could share the polling question. We had this question before we started with Sumit's part. So can you start with the question number 3? Yes, so we have question 3 in front of us. What is most important for you in achieving results from automation? And this will help us understand how various um, uh, uh, attendees are looking at this technology, and their understanding of this technology, and where they would like to start with in their organization, so that we can come back to you at a later stage with a better approach and with better solutions. So increased productivity and improved quality and compliance is something that we've got most responses in. And definitely the next video that I will be covering, that will definitely talk about the compliance part, and it will be relevant to a lot of users over here. Can we have the next polling question? What technology areas do you plan to invest for building a resilience post-COVID? So yes, again, a very important question for the CTOs and the technology heads over here. where would they like to start their digital journey from, or where would they like to invest in their digital journey. And that's great to see that the responses are more in our favor, that is the RPA's favor. That's great. About more than 70% plus are looking to do something in the RPA and the automation space. And definitely the next couple of videos would be helpful for you all. Superb. So, probably the couple of videos that we will be running next, and the question and answers can definitely help you all gain better insights, and we will be coming back to you to help you initiate this journey if you have already not initiated the automation journey at your place. So with that, I would like to start the case, the use case on the compliance regulation. And you can resonate this better than probably me, since you come from this vertical, that it is the pharma and the life science vertical is heavily regulated. The compliance workloads are ever increasing with the new changes in the compliance that are coming in. These processes are pretty repetitive and pretty manual in nature, and they are consuming a lot of productive time of the employees today. So this is a small video which would throw some light upon the compliance regulation. So the next video that I would like to present is about the inventory management, and I am aware that we have very less time left with us. So we have barely 10 minutes left with us. I will quickly run this video, and the third video probably we won't have enough time, because then we will have to we won't be able to take the question and answer. So the third video I would it will be sent to you after the webinar. We will send you the video link, and you can go through the video once. This is just we are doing to manage the time better. So this is basically an inventory management video of how unstructured data can be structured into a CSV file by using an IQ code.
Welcome to Automation Anywhere Enterprise. Joshua manages the regional inventory for a chain of hardware stores, and he receives regular reports listing parts sold in each store. Unfortunately, these reports use a non-standard format, and currently he must manually copy the part information into an Excel spreadsheet before the inventory application can consume the data. This takes hours. Let's see how easy it is to automate this process. He must map the fields from the text file into the corresponding columns of the spreadsheet. Once he is able to complete the first line of data, he can repeat the process for the entire data set. Automation Anywhere Enterprise provides multiple tools for quickly creating bots to automate repetitive processes. One of these tools is the Task Workbench, a graphical user interface that simplifies the creation and modification of bots without the need for coding. The Workbench provides a rich set of built-in commands capable of automating the management of structured and semi-structured data. It understands document formats, such as an Excel spreadsheet, and provides built-in commands for manipulating data in these spreadsheets. Here, Joshua opens the spreadsheet into which he will copy the data. There are advanced options as well, such as handling password-protected documents. At the time, Joshua doesn't require this feature. Joshua wants to start filling in the spreadsheet beginning with cell A1. The Workbench provides a Go to Cell command for this task. Now that he has specified where in the spreadsheet he wishes to begin, he needs to identify the document that contains the text data that will be copied to the spreadsheet. The Workbench provides a built-in command for reading from a text or CSV document. He can simply drag it to the Workbench. His document uses a non-standard delimiter, and he can specify it here. If the document has leading or trailing spaces, he may trim them. Upon specifying the text file details, a loop is created, and each line of the text file will be handled by each iteration of the loop. Note the helpful comment that tells exactly which variable will be used to store the values contained within the text file. This file data column variable corresponds to the column of data that will be copied from the text file to the Excel spreadsheet. To begin iterating through the rows of data in the text file, he must store the value in the A column of the spreadsheet. This corresponds to the part number. There is a set cell command for this. The cell value must be set to the value in the text document. He presses the function key F2 to get the list of available variables. He is looking for the file data column variable as specified in the hint. Joshua has successfully set the value of the first cell in the spreadsheet. Now he must set the second cell, B1. He simply needs to go one cell to the right to enter this value, which corresponds to the part description. Now he will set the value in this second cell. He can repeat this process for all the items in the first line of the report. Note there are 6 fields of data for each line in the report. Since each field will be positioned in a different column within the spreadsheet, he will need 6 columns. He tells the Workbench to go to the third cell, C1, and set that cell to the value of the file data column 3. Once done, he will handle the 4th and 5th columns of data. Now he addresses the 6th and final column of data. Upon finishing this last column, he will have completed the first row in the report. He can use Workbench commands to process all subsequent rows by specifying where to go in the Excel spreadsheet. He'll just tell the Workbench to go to the row beneath the current row and to begin at the beginning of the row. That's it. Since the workbench automatically created the loop, the bot will systematically walk through the text report one row at a time, processing each row of data and inserting the fields into the spreadsheet. Finally, Joshua needs to close the spreadsheet upon completing the processing. He has easily created a bot for handling this mundane, error-prone task. Now he can run his bot. Note the runtime window in the lower right. Within seconds, the task completes and the spreadsheet is finished. He can schedule this bot to perform this exercise on the files he receives weekly. As a result, Joshua has converted a time-consuming, error-prone task into an automated, error-free process. He has freed up time to perform more innovative and productive work. Enhance employee productivity, reduce errors, accelerate innovation. For more information and a free trial, contact Automation Anywhere.
So those were the videos from our end, and now I would like to open the discussion for the question and answers. I see a lot of hands getting raised. A lot of customers have already texted about the question and answers on the chat window. So, but before going to the question and answer, Sanam, can we quickly have our fifth and the last polling question? Yes, so this is a very important question from our side. How do you want us to reach back to you? Whether you want us to do a workshop with your team, or develop select a happy path in your process and do a small POC on that, or if you're an existing Automation Anywhere customer, then do you want us to help you scale up your automation practice? Thanks a lot for reverting on that question, and we will definitely come back to you with the option that you've suggested. So I mean, I would like to start taking the questions now. So if there is anything that you would like us to answer, if there are any questions you would like us to answer, then you can put them on the chat window, the question and answer window, or you can put it on the chat window.
Ajit, we have one question from Mr. Venkateshwar.
Yeah.
Can you please quickly explain your services and contribution to Pfizer? So I would like to take this up. So Mr. Venkateshwar, we from Team Computers, we have been engaging with Pfizer for almost now around 7 years. And we are helping them providing end-to-end infra management support services. We have done end-to-end mobile management services for automating their entire sales force. We're just not providing the iPads, but it's also the software, and then providing all the support which is required, post-production training, and everything. Replacing the infras after 2 years, 3 years, and giving them the new infrastructure with that, replacing it up. So it's more of the support services and engaging much deeper with Pfizer. And we're happy to take more questions and what discussions around what else we can explore together in terms of in the digital space, and look at where all team can contribute to Pfizer. Would love to have the discussion, sir.
Thank you very much, Jatin, for answering the question. Mr. Dilip would like to unmute. We would like to unmute you. Since you have a question, I will be unmuting you, and you can if you have a question that you would like to ask, you can ask us. I've already unmuted your line.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Actually, I don't have any question at that time. Video was not visible. That's why I raised the hand.
Okay. All right. So we will be sending you all the 3 videos after the webinar, and you can go through these videos at your own comfort.
Okay.
So are there any questions regarding regarding pharma or regarding life sciences or RPA in this sector that you would like to get answered over here? So Sumit, there is one question that we've got, and probably you can answer it better. One of the customers would like to understand, what is the, how automation anywhere is presence in the Indian pharma industry, and if you could name a few clients who are, already your existing users.
Yeah, so no, we are quite prevalent. I think I will talk about the latest. One of the Biocon is we are working with recently. This is one of our latest uh, customer who we have onboarded and helping with the digital transformation journey. Merck is another one, and there are a few more, but I think AstraZeneca is another one, which is our customer. So, sir, happy to connect with you. If you're thinking of starting to uh, embark on your automation journey, we can organize some sessions with you and them, so that you can get a bit of a understanding of which all areas and how their experience had been.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for taking up the question. So I think that's it. That was about it. And if there are any further clarifications that you would require, then you can write back to us, or you can reach back to us. You can reach back to Team Computers. You can reach back to Tech Data. You can reach back to Automation Anywhere, and we would definitely like to address these queries and help you take your first step in this RPA world.
Thank you all for dialing and appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Thank you.
attending the call. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. So we will be sending you the recording of the webinar along with the use case videos that we showed you today. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining this webinar.